What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Ironheart Podcast, the podcast about filmmaking, TV, and marketing. My name is Lungile Mayindi, and welcome to a brand new episode. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm super excited. This is episode 42. And I hope you guys are good. Hope you guys are well, staying safe, away from COVID and all those things. And yeah, so I'm super excited today. I have a lot of cool topics to talk about. The first thing I wanted to talk about was like the Predator lawsuit. So if you don't know what the Predator lawsuit is, basically it's been in the news since last year. So basically what happened is the writers who wrote the movie Predator, I think in 1984 or something, they are suing Disney for their rights to their franchise. So basically what happens in the US in terms of their copyright law, when filmmakers, writers create work, after 35 years, the rights revert back to them. So they have been suing 20th Century Fox, which is owned by Disney, which was, acquired by Disney. And they wanted to get their rights back for their IP. So that was pretty exciting. It made a lot of big news. And it's something that made me think a lot about creative ownership, owning your own IP. But I also something that was, they just reported, I think today or yesterday, is that the writers have settled their lawsuit with Disney. So instead of getting the IP back, it looks like they came to an amicable agreement between Disney. So I'm guessing they got paid again because they wanted to get their franchise back. What is interesting about this whole Predator lawsuit thing is that Disney already had like a Predator movie, which was called Skulls, ready to be released. So obviously all this legal trouble was going to prevent them from releasing that movie. It's pretty weird how studios, as a writer, you can write something and then the studio will own it forever for a long time, and they'll make sequel on sequel on sequel on sequel, and most creatives and filmmakers don't own their content like that. And that's how it's been going. And one thing that I've been thinking about is that, like, when filmmakers own their content and their IP, they stand a chance to make a lot more money. If you look at people like Tyler Perry, he has ownership in these movies. So every time his movies play, every Christmas, even if there's a Tyler Perry festival on any channel or broadcaster, he gets paid. Because he didn't just get fully funded from the studios. He put some of his money into his movies. So he has ownership, back-end points. And it's just something that made me think a lot about creative ownership, owning your productions. I've noticed a lot of productions that happen here in South Africa in terms of producing stuff for MultiChoice and Mnet. Yes, they create great shows, great soapies. But what sucks is that MultiChoice is commissioning those shows and they own them. So just because someone is producing a soapy doesn't mean, it just means that after they've produced like 300 episodes, the broadcaster will just redub the episodes in Portuguese and Spanish and sell it all over the world and make more money off the show. Versus if the creators own the content, they could do that and make money on a consistent basis. So that's something that I've been thinking about. I think when I attended the Durban Film Festival, one of the producers from Anand Singh's production company spoke about like how things are hectic now in the film industry in terms of like, not being able to make money in theaters, obviously because of COVID. And he decided to pivot and produce a soapy for ETV, which is called House of Zwide. So they were like, we just decided to pivot and become a hired gun, which is a little sad, but I guess they need to pay the bills, need to pay the rent. But what sucks is they can produce all this content for ETV, but ETV is going to own it forever. which made me think about like owning content. I feel like it's the way to go. It's what we should be striving for, striving to do that. That's what this Predator lawsuit made me think about. As if you think about it, these studios and broadcasters can make a spin-off or a sequel with or without you. Some distributors even do that. When they distribute your film, they own it for 25 years and they can make sequels without you. It's really important to know those deals, how they work, and to know what is best, what's the best way forward. So it's something to think about, something that's something that was on my mind. But yeah, it turns out this Predator lawsuit, the writers got paid off, so they probably got paid a lot, which is great. Maybe that's what their ultimate goal was. But imagine if they did own the franchise, they got to own the franchise back and didn't have the money. I mean, they could, self-produce some of the content. They could literally make so much stuff. They could, I don't know what their deal is all about, if they can like start, selling toys and things like that, but they could make revenue on so many fronts. They could make podcasts, they could make short films, feature films, TV shows, they could make merch. Like the revenue streams are like endless. But like I said, I don't know exactly what the deal consisted of, but it was really interesting. Like imagine if they did get the franchise back. So yeah, something interesting. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the Matrix movie. I don't know did you guys get to watch the new Matrix Resurrections? Hope you did, because I did. I've been watching the trailer for days because I've just been excited. I tried to watch the first trilogy before watching it, but I just couldn't because I just didn't have time. I watched a bit of the first movie, just to like get myself back into it and just to prepare myself. And then when I watched the Matrix Resurrections, I was impressed, dude. I was blown away. Like the story, the visual effects, the action, the pacing, everything was just like, it was interesting. It was everything I wanted and more, Something that I've noticed is that a lot of people are like, oh, it's not as good, blah. But I'm thinking, man, do you know how much work they put in to make that movie? For me, maybe the only bummer they didn't have the guy used to play Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne. They had a new Morpheus guy. I don't know why, but it's not that big of a deal. It's just, it is what it is. But I think the directors did really well. I think it was a really, really good movie. Like, for instance, the part where, they expanded on the universe. They had a scene where they're always traveling in the ship. And then now, I think the movie sent like 20 or 60 years later or 30 years later. And people are like friends with machines now. They're working together against the bigger machine villains. So that was a really interesting little thing that I picked up. And I thought it was really cool. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it sucks that it didn't make as much money in the box office. Maybe people were like watching it at home. I think it got a dual release, like theaters and cinema. I wish I watched it in cinema, but hey, watching it at home was cool also. But yeah, I think it was a great movie, man. Like, did you guys watch it? If you watch it, drop comments below. If you're watching this on YouTube, love to hear what you guys think about it. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Another movie that I enjoyed was King Richard, starring Will Smith. Man, that movie was amazing. I've been dying to talk about it. I watched it and it was just like emotional. It was a good family story about like tennis. Basically, if you don't know what King Richard is, it's about Venus and Serena Williams' dad, who taught them how to play tennis and coached them. And it shows their rise, how they started practicing and how they grew until they were able to play in the tennis championships while they were young. Showed their family life. I think it was a good movie, dude. I think Will Smith brought it like nobody's business. He even won a Golden Globe, which is really, really great. I think his performance was great. The story was great. Even the young cast members were really, really dope. I read about a little bit about how the movie was made, how it was shot. I saw the director was talking about how he watched a lot of tennis movies in order to prep and learn how to shoot the movie. And they also said something about like they use doubles because they're actresses that are young, they're not tennis players, so they had to use doubles. I didn't know that. Then they obviously use visual effects to superimpose the actress's face on the doubles. I didn't notice that. But obviously, because it's a visual effects, and I mean it's a good visual effects. So the good visual effects are effects that you can't see. Um, but yeah, I think it was. I think it was a cool movie. I think it was amazing, actually. To be honest, I think it was a great, great, great movie. Really emotional. It hit all the notes, man. It was perfect. It was just freaking perfect. It was a great, great movie. Let me know if you guys watch King Richard. And I'm actually excited to see if it's going to win an Oscar, if Will Smith will win. I want to see where it's going to stand, you know. But yeah, I'm keen to see what will happen at the Oscars. I think Will Smith was really, really good. Another thing I wanted to talk about was buying gear on Facebook Market. I think it's the second time I speak about this. I mean, if you are a filmmaker and you want to buy gear and you don't have that much money, buying gear on Facebook Market it's cool, man. Like, I've bought so much stuff on Facebook Market. I think it's much better than like the Gumtrees and the OLXs because you can sort of see if people have sold stuff before. You can even see if who they are. So it builds a little bit of trust. So I bought like this lens I'm using on this camera right now for like around 8K. I bought another lens that was a 32K lens for 8K. I was a little skeptical at the beginning, but when I met the guy, I was like, yo, why are you selling this lens so cheap? And, he was upgrading his camera. So like, there's a lot of good, like, bargains on there. So if you're really interested in buying secondhand gear, I think you guys should check out Facebook Marketplace. There's a lot of cool cameras. And obviously when you buy something from there, just make sure that, you meet them in public, then you check the gear before you give the person the money and then you pay him, just so you're safe, But yeah, it's a really cool place to check out cheap gear, used gear. It's really great. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the new Dexter series. If I don't know, a lot of people though that know me know I love Dexter, the series. Dexter is basically a series about a serial killer who catches criminals that get away from the law, like they beat the court systems and stuff. So he catches them and punishes them, or kills them. But it's really dark, but it's a really good series. So it played for like 8 years on Showtime, and then now they made a new version of it called Dexter New Blood, which just ended. So since it came out a few weeks ago, I've been watching it like back to back every Sunday because it's such a good show, man. Like, I think what happened is the last season 8, ended really terribly and people hated it. And then I think now the producers wanted to make a new season just to like fix what they didn't fix. I don't know if there'll be another season. It doesn't seem likely, but if there is, that would be great because I'd love if there's another season. But yeah, the last season didn't really end well and people hated the ending. It was sort of like Game of Thrones shitty-ish, like the same way Game of Thrones ended and everyone was unsatisfied. It was also not nice. It was a shitty ending. But this season was awesome, and like those people, the guys that created the show, like the great writers, like everything is just like top notch. It's like really good premium drama. It felt a little different, a little unfamiliar, but still had the familiarity of the old series. And I think it was great, dude. I'm a big Dexter fan, and I think it was like really, really, really dope. Let me know if you got to watch it or what are you guys watching. But yeah, I think it was really, 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 really great. I wish they make more seasons, honestly. Like, I wish they make more seasons. I hope it never ends, but I guess then obviously it would probably suck if they make too many seasons. But like, it's just the best series ever. But yeah. Anyway, that's it for the Ironheart podcast. My name is Lungile. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, whether you're watching this on YouTube. And if you are, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that bell button so you keep you notified every time I drop a new video. If you're listening to this on our podcast platform, please check out the show notes. We've got an email address. Email us. We'd love to hear what you guys think. I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think I should talk about in the next podcast? Anything that you guys want to talk to me about. Anyway, this has been the Ironheart Podcast, episode 42. Hope you guys are good, staying safe. I'll see you guys in the next episode. So, peace out.